Alexander. And questions remain about whether Republican lawmakers gave the insurrectionists tours in the days leading up to the attack. Joining me now is Congresswoman Val Demings of Florida. She was an impeachment manager in the first Trump impeachment and is a candidate for the United States Senate. And Congresswoman, I have to start with you on the open white supremacy that's being flaunted at this point by Paul Gosar. His own brother said he's a white supremacist. I don't understand how you, as a black woman, or really anyone, can serve alongside people who are embracing white supremacy and not even embarrassed about it.
Well, Joy, it's good to be back with you. And look, I did an op-ed a few months ago where I said, bring back shame, because we know that white supremacists have always been amongst us, which is sad enough in itself. But there used to be a time when certainly members of Congress didn't really want everybody to know it. But, you know, we know them by the fruit that they bear. We also know what happened on January 6th, although we have been asked to not believe our eyes and our ears. This is a sad day. It's a sad reminder of what happened 6 months ago. And regardless of members of Congress who are white supremacists or choose to hang out with them, regardless of those who helped plan or helped give tours or helped to incite, we are going to get to the bottom of it. And I am so glad that the Speaker has impaneled this select committee. We are going to get to the bottom of it.
And I do have a question for you, sort of on a law enforcement kind of theme, but does it surprise you, and, you know, and Florida is a small world, as you and I both know, that people like Marco Rubio, who you're running against the United States Senate, who tweets Bible verses every day for random reasons, these people aren't saying to themselves, I don't want to be associated with white supremacists. Where are the Speaker? Where is Marco Rubio? Where are all of these people who are constantly lecturing us about what history we're allowed to learn? Why aren't they saying anything?
Well, you know, Joy, a long time ago, someone told me I'd rather see a sermon any day than to hear one. So Rubio can send out all of the Bible verses that he wants to. We're looking at not what he says, but what he does. We're talking about a man, as you've indicated, thank you for bringing it up, who has not said one word to denounce white supremacists since he's been in office, by the way. We're talking about a man who voted against an independent commission that would investigate the insurrection that occurred on 1/6. And so, again, we know them by the fruits that they bear. Rubio has not delivered. And as you know, that is exactly why I am running. Florida deserves better.
Let me read the statement that President Biden issued today. He said 6 months later, we can say unequivocally that democracy did prevail and that we must continue to work to protect, to preserve it. That requires people of goodwill and courage to stand up to the hate, the lies, the extremism that led to this vicious attack, including determining what happened so that we can remember it and not bury it, hoping that we forget. We're seeing Republicans trying to bury it. But there are issues that are frightening, I think. Law enforcement being involved, fighting other law enforcement, demanding that they not follow orders. Members of the military being involved. Where would you start? If this was a police investigation and Val Demings was still the sheriff, where would you start in terms of this investigation? Would it be with lawmakers and their role? Where would you start?
Everybody counts, Joy. But as I've said many times before, everybody's accountable. And that includes everyone who had any kind of role in what happened on January 6th. That includes the former president. That includes the members of the Senate. That includes the members of the House. That involves military, former or current, and law enforcement, former or current. We start at the beginning. We know that this did not just all happen on January 6th, but it had been planned for weeks and months. Who was involved in the planning? Who was involved in funding it? Who was involved in helping to excite it? Some of them we saw who had no shame, again, on camera on that day. But who else was involved in it? We saw the president. We saw members of the Senate. We saw members of the House. We saw the president's attorney. But we start at the beginning. Who planned it? How did it happen? Who funded it? Who executed it? We've seen over 500 arrests from the FBI of those who actually were physically involved in beating police officers down and terrorizing members of Congress and the staff, their staff, and the people who work in the Capitol. But we want to know the complete story, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. And that's exactly what the Select Committee will do, with or without Kevin McCarthy, the minority leader. We take that word for granted a lot, with or without his help.